Alright, folks. Okay, folks. Alright, folks. We are going to get started.
Okay, folks. Let's get started.
Video here.
For children with autism, routines are extremely beneficial because they tend to be predictable and reliable. Routines tend to make them feel more safe and secure. And I know at least 2 people in this room who couldn't get through a lesson without hard, simple, let's get started. It's surprising how something so little to the average school student is so important to those with a disability. For those who do not know who I am, my name is Denham Stanbeck. I am 17 years old and I was diagnosed with a chronic kidney disease at the age of 5. The question I'm posing to you today is, how do children who face childhood diseases adapt to social and creative outlets like school, music, fashion, and social media? Now, I know everyone knows chronic diseases are a challenge for anyone, but did you know kids with chronic diseases have it twice as hard? Many children with childhood diseases face broad and unthinkable challenges in overcoming social trends in American culture that usually are unrecognized. Children with chronic illnesses are more likely to have emotional, behavioral, and psychiatric issues, including isolation and low self-esteem, compared to their counterparts without challenges, and some of those children dealing with these issues are sitting right next to you. In order to provide inclusive and safe environments for children with impairments, technologies such as computers, gaming consoles, cars, and phones are designed for universal access. But these everyday things are often limited when it comes to meeting the specific needs of children in various levels of physical disability. This further limits the children's access to everyday items such as social media. There have been efforts to make everyday objects more accessible for all, but there is still much progress to be made to accommodate the needs of the disabled children. Social media has had a tremendous impact on how teenagers communicate with one another and is a feature of youth life in the United States. Due to the growing impulsiveness of teens, combined with general thinking, creates terrible decision making and poor judgment. Social media platforms can lead to accessing inappropriate content, problematic behaviors, and oversharing private information, which can lead to substance abuse and self-harm.
Where are you leaving?
I googled those pills in your bathroom.
EDC's Shy F found that students with disabilities are more likely to report receiving messages of positivity and support online, but also more likely to be cyberbullying victims. Social media takes the average stressed kid and quantifies their social media interactions, increasing levels of alienation and insecurity. Research shows that females use social media as a way to cope with anxiety and despair, and Instagram in particular increases the likelihood of younger women having body image issues. Females are more likely to have a negative effect of social media than their male counterparts due to the tendency to compare themselves to others. Jason Crosby states that 72% of Americans use social media, but women may be more negatively affected than other groups. Now, imagine how many of those women have some type of disability. Social media is a double-edged sword with numerous pros and cons and does little to accommodate those with disabilities, creating more of a disadvantage for those teens trying to fit in. As this generation grows, reports of cyberbullying, addiction, depression, and lack of expression and communication skills will continue to increase. Imagine not being able to fit in because you can't fit in anything. Social media sways fashion trends by giving them a place to thrive. Emily Matcher, a Smithsonian Magazine writer, described the inclusiveness of the fashion industry as a significant gap because the demands of adolescents with disabilities were not being met. Clothing can be used to express a person's gender identity, occupation, and personality, which is a form of nonverbal communication. Researchers have created the term in-clothes cognition to explain the effect of apparel on emotion and wellness. But when you can't fit your favorite clothes because of edema, you aren't able to communicate these things. Now, what is edema? Edema is swelling caused by too much body fluid trapped in the body's tissue. Something I experienced numerous times that a lot of people probably haven't noticed. Considering that more than 1 in 10 Americans have a disability, it's clear that the market for adaptive fashion is growing, enabling people with all types of disabilities to wear clothing that suits their needs and personal style. Children with chronic kidney diseases such as nephrotic syndrome tend to experience excessive swelling, and with fluctuating sizes, struggle to find outfits that are inexpensive, comfortable, yet meet fashion trends. What clothing business owners fail to realize is that every clothing market only caters to those with petite, tall, and straight size bodies, when the real power holders are those with disabilities. Major brands such as Versace, Gucci, and Balenciaga do not offer collections on their website or in store that include clothing with areas for access to treatment equipment for cancer, dialysis, amputation, and other conditions.
Yes, no, that's so true. Buying prom stuff was so insane because I wanted to look like nice but also masculine, and they do not make like fun, colorful, masculine plus size clothes.
Small stores may only be offered in treatment clinics within hospital shops, but not in local shopping centers. The companies that do offer these designs are typically families of children with medical disabilities who want to match their children with classmates and friends without revealing the medical condition. Intersectionality theories are often taught in traditional classrooms, but disability is often left out of the conversation. As far as school, there are so many hidden challenges in the average classroom. Specifically, as a teen living with a disability looking for a college or university to attend, there is a lot to consider. From my field experience, I served on a panel titled Patient Perspectives, Living with Nephrotic Syndrome at the Nephrotic Syndrome Education Day. As a panelist, I described my journey with kidney disease and acclimating to school and social life as a youth with a chronic disease. The panel answered questions from attendees at the event and provided valuable input to other patients and families battling chronic diseases.
So having a single room was very important to me, and then having a kitchen as well. When you're looking at colleges, really a lot of them actually provide accommodations for people with disabilities. I would highly recommend you look into that. Make sure that they have that availability, so you're using it too. If they're giving you a single room, then use it like it's for you. That's why it's there. Don't be don't shy away, and don't be like, oh, like maybe I'll figure it out. That's not necessary. And honestly, there are some people that are just taking advantage of it, even if they don't have like disabilities. So you're honestly better off using those resources.
Research has shown that 34% of disabled students finish all 4 years of college due to the lack of accommodations and resources for disabled students. There are 12,229 public schools that do not utilize the 504 plan. And imagine how many of those kids in those public schools are not continuing on to higher education due to the lack of the knowledge about this tool. Now, what is a 504? A 504 plan is a formal document created by your doctor and school nurse outlining how the school intends to minimize disability discrimination against students. It is a list of modifications that will be provided to a child in order to equalize the learning environment with non-disabled peers.
It's just great to be able to be part of restoring that, joy of childhood, and if we can in any way alleviate those worries about the future for the children and their families.
In some cases, public school spaces simply do not have these accommodations, turning the idea of having an equal and diverse population into a smaller demographic. Whether it's not having access to public spaces, or encountering physical obstacles, or having limited choices of communication, everyday things become challenged for youth with disabilities. Whether it's not having access to public spaces, encountering physical obstacles, or having limited choices of communication, everyday things become a challenge for youth with disabilities. Higher education is a milestone itself, and it carries its own stress. Having a chronic disease or a disability while pursuing a higher education is even more challenging. Having access to the right resources close at hand plays a large part in determining if you attend, where you attend, and whether or not you have the ability to graduate. Closed captions are used and perceived by regarding their academic experience in college classrooms, including those with and without disabilities. Captions assist everyone in focusing and remembering information. Many individuals with ADHD benefit from subtitles because they provide two forms of input, hearing and reading, or multiple senses. AST stated that individuals with all these common causes benefit from closed captions, especially in television or movies that need longer attention spans on a narration or instruction. In common classroom settings, closed captions are rarely utilized, and without administrators taking the advantage of this tool, it now affects not just students with disabilities such as ADHD, but it affects children who cannot learn without visuals. Speaking of visuals, have you ever seen a lot of disability portrayals in the media entertainment realm? And if you answered yes, is it the stereotypical portrayal? When disabled people are portrayed in the media, they are often presented as either a burden that is brainless and are usually used to progress the negative storyline, or as this over-portrayed superhero. The stereotyped character depiction of a disabled child or teen is as the victim to appeal to the pathos or evoking the audience to feel sympathy or pity for them. On the other hand, they are often overly amplified as a hero who showcases their worthiness by using their disability as a tool. In recent years, there has been an increase in the disability portrayal in mainstream media and culture, particularly among youth. There is many highlight categories where disability representation and discussion about what's accessible, who's affected, and why it's essential in this series. Watching TV series featuring impaired characters is an excellent way to expose children to disabilities as uniqueness, since it allows the information to be delivered in the framework of something that they're already familiar with. Overall, with the media in general, it's a complex platform because it typically promotes negativity. Without this representation, children will not be able to comprehend and ask these questions in a polite and interesting manner. Therefore, they will not be able to speak on the differences without sounding ignorant, and there's also a risk of comprehension when not utilizing the closed caption features, but the tool is definitely there to use. It's just a matter of the proper use. Due to a lack of resources and accommodations, our disabled children are not making it through college. They are becoming easy targets on social media. They are being used as pawns for likes and views and simply cannot walk comfortably in their own shoes. For those who have physical, sensory, or mental limitations, public places might provide unexpected problems. As future community leaders, doctors, teachers, and congressmen, we need to take action in order to incorporate the disabled community more often. Thank you.